Should I get pierced by the apprentice? Or tattooed, for that matter. Coming up next on Body Piercing Basics, episode number 106. So you should probably stick around. For those that are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're finding these videos helpful and entertaining, and you're on your way to getting that next tattoo or piercing. And we, all of us, have helped with that because that's why we're here. But you may not quite know who I am. My name is DaVo. I'm a professional body piercer and have been since 1994. I own and I operate the Axiom Body Piercing Studio located right here in Des Moines, Iowa, inside Skin Kitchen Tattoo. So, when I talk to you about these things, I'm talking to you a level of expertise that comes from being in the body piercing industry for well over 26 years. Today's topic comes from a couple different things. First off, I had a new apprentice start back in November, Shannon. So we always go through this asking when she's here if the person's okay with them doing it. Also, I had a comment earlier today that I answered. Basically, they were asking, since the apprentice had done one piercing on him, and even though it was a lot cheaper to get the apprentice to do it again, they weren't really happy with the results, and whether or not they should go back and let the apprentice do it, even though the results were bad on the last one. So I thought, hey, this would be a good topic to do a video on. I know we're kind of stepping back from the learning to pierce, but, you know, as an apprentice, this is some stuff that you could probably use too. But, you know, this is supposed to be general information about body piercing. So that's what we're going to do. First off, I want to cover a few questions that you should ask either the piercer, the apprentice, or whoever you're talking to. The first one being is how long have they been piercing or apprenticing? Basically, how long, when did that start? Is it 2 days? Is it 2 months? Is it 5 years? Whatever it is, how long have they been doing this? The second one would be is whether or not they have observed or done this particular piercing type with this type of jewelry. You need to get an idea of what their experience is. If it's the first one they've ever done, you're taking some risks. But, you know, it is, that's the way it goes when it comes to piercing, especially when you're helping somebody learn. Number 3, and I'll get more in depth into this later, do they have a apprentice program? Is there set goals that that person has to achieve before they're allowed to do this piercing or that piercing or what have you? And I'll get into that a little bit more later on. The next thing is how confident and comfortable does the apprentice seem to be with doing this particular piercing? Do they seem like they're gung-ho and ready to attack it, or they seem a little bit standoffish and make you wonder whether or not they want to try it or not? The next thing you want to think about or ask is a more experienced piercer going to be there to supervise this particular procedure? If so, can they jump in if there is an issue? And I'm going to go through a little bit of what goes on with that later on too. The next question is, if the piercer screws up the piercing, the results are bad, if you're just not happy with them, what type of guarantee do you have from that studio? Are they going to redo it for free? Are they going to do that if you ask for a more experienced piercer? Are they going to still do it for free? Me personally, I stand behind my work, and anybody I give the okay to go, yeah, they can do it. So if you came in, you were unhappy with what Shannon did, came in and asked me to redo it, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it for free. Because that's the kind of guy I am. And the last on the questions you should probably ask is this. Do you feel comfortable with having a more experienced piercer sitting there supervising, making comments, making suggestions, and kind of fine-tuning that piercer's abilities and et cetera? Would that make you more uncomfortable? Is that something you don't want to experience? You know, also, you've got to understand that the focus will kind of go away from you and more towards what they're doing. So if you're not comfortable with that, you need somebody to kind of walk you through it and talk you through it, that might not be the best option for you. Now let's talk about what I would consider an apprentice program. This is goals, things that they should achieve, things that will work them towards becoming a better piercer and getting to the point where I feel comfortable with them piercing on their own. And it's kind of 4 things. The first step is they observe for usually up to about a month at least, watching me do piercings, trying to get as many of a variety of different ones that they've seen, and get into the idea and me explain what's going on throughout that process. The second thing is I require them to do 10 piercings or more on volunteers. There's a situation where they bring people into the studio to do those initial piercings to kind of get away or kind of give me the ability to evaluate where they are in the process, where their strengths are, where their weaknesses are, and whether or not they can move on to piercing the general public. So then we move into a situation where I'm going to give a discount if somebody comes into the studio and wants to get a piercing, and if they're willing to let my apprentice do it, they're going to get money off or they're going to get a lesser amount, and that's where we open them up to the general public. During this period of time, they still have to check out on each piercings. My standard is 10 of each piercing done correctly, meaning no issues, no problems, etc. during the process and the whole thing. At that point in time, I will probably, and this is the last one, will continue to evaluate them on a regular basis, watching them pierce and fine-tuning their abilities and giving them pointers to get them more refined with what they do. Lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit about what should go on during the supervision and what you should expect if you're going into a reputable studio and getting pierced by an apprentice. There should be somebody on that staff that is more experienced than they are that is there, especially if they're going through that initial checkout period where they really haven't done a lot or they're a couple months into their apprenticeship. What the more experienced piercer should be doing is observing and supervising the marking of the piercing itself, and the jewelry insertion. They should be giving suggestions on how to improve or refine the technique throughout, and be willing, scrubbed up, and ready to go if they need to jump in and fix whatever goes wrong. The last part of supervision is usually after the piercing is done. We will take a few minutes to sit down and discuss what the overall experience was for the apprentice, any suggestions that I may have, things I would suggest doing different, etc., and kind of talk our way through it and kind of our after game debriefing. The thing with getting pierced by apprentices is usually you're going to get some type of a discount. In some cases, you can get really quality work done in great studios for a lesser price than what you'd normally pay. It's a great way to help people progress through the process of piercing and to train out that next generation in the proper way. So think about this one. When that next time it comes up, a lot of them will do like days where they're piercing only for free. You just pay for the jewelry. I've seen everything from it's half price to what I do, which is standard, about $10 to $15 off each piercing. Well, that's all I have to say on this subject. First off, thank you for watching. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Lets me know. It lets me know that you liked it and you like it and you like me. And that makes me feel better. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you're notified every single time we post something new. If you like merch, you like t-shirts, you like swag, check out our merch store. A link is in the description. Lots of different designs, lots of different products, etc. Check it out. If I brought up a question that you may have or didn't answer it or made you more confused, please leave a comment. Currently, I'm slowly working my way back up to being caught up. It's been a process. Bear with me. Till next time, here's hoping all your piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, we hope to see you for your body piercing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. Take care of everyone else, except those ones that you can't take care of. And remember, you have 40 feet of garden hose, so you're only responsible for that 40 feet. Anything beyond that, you can make suggestions, but don't worry about it. Someone else will pick up the slack. Till next time.